welcome to Old Time Knits. This is episode 49. Today is November 12th, 2025. My name is Marie and I'm coming to you from Central New Hampshire. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Old Time Knits. This is my channel where I talk about all of my love for knitting, mostly, and crochet and some spinning too. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, I so appreciate you guys. It's been a bit again since I was able to record, but here I am. So I have lots to talk about today, and if this sounds like something you would enjoy, then come on in and let's get started. Okay, let's jump right in with what I'm wearing. If you don't know what I'm wearing, then you don't know. This is the Ranunculus by Medora Hirose. And this is my third version. Love it. It's such a pretty yoke. So many people have knit this so many times, as most of you well know. Anyway, I think I knit the size 2. My gauge was off. I don't like my gauge to be so open. It is, I think, a 14 stitch gauge on this, and it tends to be, and it's on a large needle, so it tends to be very open and airy on some yarns, but I did not wish to have that. So my gauge was 17 stitches, and I think I did the size 2. It has a massive amount of positive ease built into the pattern already, and I am not one for much positive ease. I will insert some footage of me in it as well, so you can see that. The yarn, hold on, I'm a little rusty. I used a US 10 6mm needle for my main needle, and I did cast on with a US 9 and did just the ribbing with that. I cast on for the smaller neckline, and I just long tail cast on. I didn't do anything fancy or anything different. Whatever they called for stitches, that's just what I cast on, and I didn't have any problem with it being too wide or anything. So okay, the yarn that I'm using, was very excited to try this yarn. It's a new to me yarn. It's a new to the dyer also, and it's Frankie Gray Fibers. And this was her new base she came out with, which was extra fine merino linen DK. It's 80% extra fine merino and 20% linen. Sorry, it's a little, and it's in the, you probably can't see that, but it says high tea color, which is spectacular. So I started with 4 skeins. It is a DK weight. I'm sorry if I didn't say that. Yeah, it is a DK weight, and it is beautiful. So this is what I had left of 4 skeins with a little bit of a tidbit of that one. So not really much left over. Beautiful yarn, and I love the way it came out. I'm happy with, I did 3/4 sleeves with an I-cord bind off. I love everything about it. I've worn it a lot already. I think that if there was one thing that I would change, and I'm sure others have said this, is I would not do short rows in the front of this. It has short rows in the back, and it also has short rows in the front, and I do not see the point of the short rows in the front. All it does is bring this up a little bit, and I get that feeling across here. So in the future, I think that I must have done that in my other 2 that I knit, but in the future I would omit those short rows in the front. I just don't think that they're necessary, and I don't recall having such a problem, although maybe I did have a problem. It makes it so it hits you right along your neck edge. So anyway, that is what I'm wearing and my first finished object. And then I have been in sock heaven. knit, sock. And for my first pair, these were a work in progress. Yes, in my last episode. Here they are. They are so fun. So these are my sparkly socks. I don't know if you can catch the sparkle or not. I made these for myself. I'm gonna put this one down. Love this. So I opted not to do a contrasting heel. I just went with the yarn and let it do its thing. And they are close, but not exactly the same. It broke on a little bit different stripe there, but I don't care. It's not enough to notice, so that caused the toes to be off just a bit. It doesn't matter. They're so fantastic and so fun. So this is, I don't have the tag. I'm so sorry. It's West Yorkshire Spinners. This is what I have left. It's a good commercial yarn. Super, super durable, and these are going to wear really great. And it is a fingering weight. So I am going to mention this again because I can't stop thinking about it. The reason that I knit these are fingering weight. I do not do fingering weight socks usually, although now I do. So I'm using my Addy Rocket, and these are a US one. They are a 2.5 millimeter instead of a 2.25. I didn't notice enough of a difference. My socks fit me just fine. But they're 10-inch instead of 9-inch. They have a longer tip on one end and a smaller tip on the other side. And just having that extra inch circumference allows me to get my big long fingers in there and knit away. It just makes it so much easier for me. The 9-inch was not quite enough in the diameter of them for me to comfortably knit on them. My hands were cramping really bad. So I cruised down these once I, got going again on them. I had to put them down for a bit. But yeah, and my mama loves these. I was knitting these when I was with her, visiting her, and she just absolutely loves these. My apologies if you hear background noise. My cat Molly is running around like a lunatic right now. I don't know why. She's all feisty and full of herself. Anyway, just a basic fingering weight pattern, 64 stitches, and I do not have an actual pattern that I follow. I just do my own thing. And I do have project pages for everything that I'm going to talk about today. So, all right. So there's one pair finished, and those are for me. I can't wait to wear them now that I've shown them. Okay, and then the next pair are a pair of Indoorsy socks, which is a pattern by Melissa of Sonder Yarn Company. And I loosely follow her pattern in basically holding mohair and fingering together to form a DK weight sock. All right, so I'm going to talk about them. Love them. I don't know if you guys can catch the halo. Not as good as I'd hoped you could, but anyway, fingering weight held with mohair. These are a 48 stitch sock done on a US 3.25 millimeter needle. And again, I don't have a pattern that I follow. I just do my own thing. And all of the information is on the project page. I think it's about 40 rounds on the leg, like 10 on the cuff, 40 on the leg, heel flap and gusset, which is my favorite. And then there's like 50 rows on the foot for my big foot. I knit these so fast. My buddy, who's my knitting buddy, and I went to New York to a woolen affair, and Cake Palooza and Indian Tangled, which are the events that are just before Rhinebeck, and we had a wonderful time. We did not go to Rhinebeck. I had a scheduling conflict, so I could not. But we did manage to also pop into a Perfect Blend yarn shop, which was on Thursday, and then all of the events were on Friday, which was so fun. So I picked up this yarn there, and so the fingering weight yarn is Earth Yarns. Is that right? Earth Yarns, sorry. And it is their Harvest Fingering Weight. And it is in the color Harvest Fig. And it is, 100% superwash extra fine merino. And I held it together with a mohair from Murky Depths, whom I love. She has the most moody, yummy colors. And this was specifically dyed for the Rhinebeck weekend. And this is called Saugerties Sunrise. Saugerties is in New York, where the Perfect Blend yarn shop is. And this is a beautiful mohair, and it is 64 kid mohair and 36% silk. So these are the two that I'm holding together. Look at the colors in this. Oh, it's beautiful. And then this was the Harvest Fig. So it really, it's really fun to hold a colorful mohair like that, and look at the beautiful muted. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. So if you haven't done a pair of socks with fingering and mohair, they make the most amazing, squishy, yummy, warm, beautiful socks, and they make a beautiful gift. But these are for me. I'm on a me kick right now because I have worn through a few of my socks. So it's time to replace them. I walk around in my socks. I know you're not supposed to, but I'm a barefoot girl, and I'm not one for much for slippers and all of that. I don't know if that's bad or not. All right, my next finished project I was also working on in my last episode, and this is for Knots of Love, and it's Joy's NICU blanket. It is a paid for pattern on their website, and all the proceeds from that go to the Knots of Love organization. And I finished it. Oh, kind of crumpled. It's been folded up for a while. Here it is. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. It's just a small size baby blanket. It is crochet. Whoops, sorry. I did 3 colors. I did this as a buddy project. My buddy also did one. And it is done on an H hook, US 8, 5mm. And it's done using a washable yarn, a commercial, the Heartland brand from Lion Brand. And the colors I used were Wolf Trap, Capital Reef, and White Sands. So it formed this really nice neutral palette. So these blankets are for the little babies in NICU, but they send these blankets home with the mamas, and the mama, sleeps with it and keeps it with her, and her scent gets on the blanket so that when they give it to the baby in the NICU, it's a familiar thing. And I just thought that was such a fun and nice little thing. So yeah, so I finished that, and my buddy finished hers. So now I just need to wash them and get them off to Knots of Love, which I love so much. All right, and my last finished object was a test knit. And I couldn't be happier. I learned a new technique, if you will. It's really not that big of a deal, but new to me. And here it is. So these are the Wild Geese socks. It was a test knit for Nancy of Knit Sip Happy. Fantastic designer. And she also has a podcast. If you don't know, you should check her out. Of course you know. Hi, Nancy, if you're watching. Anyway, I'm going to put one down and talk about this. So the new to me thing is that this was a toe-up sock, and I have only ever done one other toe-up sock, and it was a long, long time ago. And Judy's Magic Cast On. I'm not going to give too much away because it is a paid-for pattern. It was just newly released not that long ago, within the last week or so. So you start at the toe and you work your way here, and you do this heel is, I did not know how it was going to all work out, and I actually said to Nancy, it's fascinating to think that somebody could figure that all out, and you have to totally trust the pattern and the process that it's going to work out as it should. She has a great formula for figuring out where to start the heel, built right into her pattern. So I'm going to take it off the blocker so you can maybe see the going down the front, the design. Such a pretty design, super easy texture. Yeah, really a fun knit all the way around. So they have the design on the back and then just a little bit of pearl bumps on the leg of it and nothing on the foot. If I forgot, I think I forgot to say that this is the DK weight, which is why I jumped on board. Because yeah, so I absolutely love them, and it was a fantastic knit. It's very easy, and it's just great. What else can I say? The only modification that I made is in the pattern. There is just the very tippy top has contrast yarn, and the rest is the main color on the cuff. And I just asked if I could do mine in the contrast alone, and Nancy was very happy to accommodate. So yeah, cute little stripe on the bottom too. What a great pattern. So if you haven't done a toe-up sock and you like DK, this is your baby. And if you should like want to do a toe-up and what am I trying to say? She has a fingering weight version of a toe-up sock. I think it's called Wintry Woods Sock, I think. Anyway, if you go onto her Ravelry, I'll link her down below, you will find she has a ton of sock designs. So yes, perfect. Loved it, loved it. Super speedy DK. If you haven't done DK, you should, because it is so quick, so quick. Realized I didn't talk about my yarns. I'm sorry. The yarn that I was using is Red Stag Fiber in their Croft DK base, which is 100% superwash British Blueface Leicester in the Water Evans color. That was my main color. And then the contrast color for these was a Polka Dot Creek Classic DK in Rudolph, I think was the color. So yeah, those were the two yarns, and this is what I had left. Awesome. Okay. All set. Carry on. Okay, moving on to my works in progress. My first one is small looking. This is the Cortez pullover, and it's by Michelle, and I don't want to mess her last name up here, Frazetta. I think she's Mishi Freeze on Instagram. I will make sure I put that down below. Anyway, I started this in the last podcast. I haven't worked on it too much. I just recently picked it up again. It's one of those focus projects. It's not hard to do, but you just have to focus. And I'm not quite through the increases for the raglan increases. So I have to pay attention pretty good. So it is a broken rib. And I just think it's going to be fabulous. It looks so tiny. First of all, it's all crunched up on a needle. But second of all, this is rib, so it's all crunched up. But I am doing, I'm doing the size 3. I'm using a US 6 4mm needle. And the yarn that I'm using is called Sueno from Haiku. It's the DK. It's 80% merino and 80% superwash merino and 20% viscose from Bamboo. And that is the colorway, Evergreen. Love this yarn, super squishy and very soft. So when I cast this on, I knew that this would be a long-term or a longer term project because I knew I needed focus, and I really haven't had much focus lately. So I just recently picked it back up, but I'm so happy. It's just going to be beautiful. And she does a beautiful job of incorporating the raglans into the increases into the broken ribs. So yeah, I've been working on that one. Excuse me. And my next one is a brand new cast on. I just cast it on last weekend with yarn that I bought while I was at a woolen affair. Okay, so here it is. I just started it. Whoops, sorry. I just started it. It's going to be a shawl. It is called New Day Rising, and it is by Emily Wood, and it is a crescent shape, obviously, and it has some beautiful lace running down. It starts off with garter. This is the garter section and a little bit of eyelet. I have a couple more of these sections to go, and then it turns into some stockinette with some beautiful lace zigzags going down it. I hopefully will have put a picture up for you to see. I am on a US 6 4mm needle, and it's funny, when I was doing my when I was gathering all my things to podcast this morning, I realized I have so many things on a US 6 and I didn't realize it excuse me, until I started looking at them. But this is also a 6. My Anna Cortez is on a 6, and a couple more projects are on a 6. Must be the needle of choice right now. Excuse me. This is the yarn that I'm using. It is Explorer Knits and Fibers, and this is a worsted weight. It's the Carlsbad worsted, 100% superwash merino, and it is in the Upstate colorway, which was her show color. It is so beautiful. It has so many colors in it. Very nice. So worsted weight and knitting up really, really fast. I think it's going to be very, very squishy. And I can't wait to have it done. I don't think it's going to take me too long. Going pretty quick. Although it does get to be lots and lots of stitches on the needles. So here I am bragging it's not going to take me too long, and I'll probably still have it on the needles for quite a while. All right, and then the next couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, if you've been here for any length of time, you will know that I used to whine about how I'm not a blanket knitter. And I'm really not. And I think that I just get bored with them, with the going back and forth across rows. I don't know. I lose my momentum. This one was a little different. This is the Zigzag Zen blanket by Anina Hudi. I just knit that for her. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, I am not really a blanket knitter. Going back and forth across a blanket, I am all about it when I first get started, and then I lose my momentum and I get bored, and then I set it aside and it takes me forever to get back on it. I'm sure that there are others that feel this way too. That being said, my next work in progress is, guess what? You got it, a blanket. So I saw this blanket on Instagram and decided to check it out. And I wasn't sure about it to begin with, but then I suckered my buddy into it to do it with me. And we have been working on it for the last since July. July was when it's a knit along, and we have been working on it since then. And I haven't showed it yet because I've always had so many other things going on. And it's something that we have been working diligently to keep up with, because it's a monthly yarn subscription from So Happy Jane. I'm going to show you her hand-dyed yarn club, and it's in the Delightful DK, and that was one of the colors. So each month you can get either your choice, either one skein of DK or 2 skeins, which comes as a solid and a speckle. And so we opted to get the 2 skeins so that we could do the larger blanket. We didn't just want to have a lap blanket. And so this is called the Luvina blanket, and it's by I will put it on the screen here. Gosh, why can't I think of her name? I'm so sorry. I thought I wrote it down. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Anyway, I will put her name on the screen, as well as a picture of what the blanket looks like. So it's done in squares. You knit squares every month with your colors, and then sew them together in the end. So here's one stack of squares. This is not all of them. We, Sue and I have decided to do the larger size, and it's 63 squares, but I'm just going to share a few of them that I have done, few of the pairings. So it's such a beautiful design, and it's knit, we knit it on magic loop, and it is done on a US 6 4mm needle. There I am again with that. So 63 squares, so 9 long by 7 wide is what it will be. So that was one of the months, and this was the partner. So I opted to get 2 skeins. So these 2 guys came together as a monthly set. Beautiful yarn, really beautiful yarn, very soft, very nice. So that was one of the months, and so you do 14 squares per month, 7 squares per color on those. And some months it's pretty hard to get through it, and some months you fly through it. We are on our we have like 14 squares left between the next couple of months here. Our next shipment should be landing soon. Anyway, these were the first 2 colors. They're so pretty, right? I love, love, love the speckles that she does. And so these are 7 in each, 7 in each color. So we've been plugging along on that for quite some time. Proud of my stack. Those ones are blocked. I have a lot more done, but they're not quite blocked yet. Anyway, it's really a nice blanket, and it's something that you can do a few squares and, you know, set it aside and come back and do a few more squares. And I think that's why I have enjoyed doing this. Not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of sick of it now because we've been diligent about keeping it going and really being on it. And yeah, when you get down to the last, you know, whatever, 10 or 14 or so, we've pretty much had enough. 63 squares is a pretty good amount. So I am anxious to see how it's all going to come together. I have to get the other squares that I have knit on the blocking mats, and they are a 7 by 7 square. Again, it's just such a pretty pattern and not hard. Not hard at all. So, and you know, not necessarily completely memorizable, but I'm pretty close to having it memorized now. I think it's like 24 rounds per square. So with it, you know, it increases amounts. So yeah, so me, the not blanket knitter is knitting that. And my buddy's along for the ride. She's pretty good with it. Some days she, you know, sends me a message and says, ugh, squares. And we laugh about it and we coax each other on, and it works. So that will be finished pretty soon as far as the squares, and then it's going to take some time to sew it all together. But I'm looking forward to being done with the square portion, and then I don't mind doing the sewing at all. So that is that. I did want to share this. This is an inspiration card from So Happy Jane, and I will link her down below. She's just the loveliest person ever. I did see her at a woolen affair, but I wasn't able to get into her booth to talk to her because she's pretty popular. So yes, so that is another work in progress. And then my final one is a blanket. I don't know what's wrong with me. I am not a blanket knitter. I have said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not a blanket knitter. I am overwhelmed right now by my scraps, the amount of scraps I have. And so that is part of what I'm thinking with this next project. And the other part is I really, for a couple of years now, I've really wanted to do the Row One Yarn mini subscription, and I just haven't done it. But I finally did do that. And so between my scraps and my new Row One subscription, I started another blanket. And this is one section of it. Here it is, and hard to show. Okay, so it's these nice long strips like this. This is a DK weight. Super cute, right? Super fun. Lots of nice scraps using up. Ta-da! Okay, this is the Little Squares blanket. I'll pop in a couple pictures. It's the Little Squares knitted blanket. And I say that because she also has a crochet version, which I did look at. And doesn't mean I won't do it in the future. I'm using a US 6 4mm needle. And I'm using my Row One minis and DK scraps combined. So this is a completed strip. You do all of the squares and then you go back and add one border on one side. Again, it's going to be sewn together. And I have my next strip well underway. And so this is what the strip looks like when you are, before you pop the border on. And I'm just using DPNs to do these, and it's just a basic wooden Takumi, I think is the brand on it. Yeah, Takumi. And it's US 6. So I'm able to just use a DPNs without having anything else fiddly. So yeah, it's pretty uneventful. So I try and pop in a couple of minis a day. I just started my Row One subscription. So I already actually have 2 months. I started it the last month. So I have this little bucket of Row One minis. And then I have a bag of all my DK scraps as well. And I'm been alternating. So I'm holding the Row One as fingering weight. I'm holding it double. There's one of them there. I'm holding it double to get the DK weight. And then the other yarn, the border yarn, is from Dirty Water Dye Works. I don't have the tag handy, in her biscuit colorway, and this is a DK weight. She's out of Boston, the Superwash Merino. And so that is for in between the colors and the border. But I am so happy with how this is coming out. It looks so good once you start to put the border on, and then when it's all sewn together, it will have a border around all of the edges again. So the only modification I did was her blanket was 10 colored squares, and I did 14, I think, maybe 15, because I wanted it a little bit bigger. So yeah, so this has been a really fun thing. It's a great it's not a great travel project because you have to bring all your scraps everywhere with you, but it is a great Scrappy Sunday project. And yeah, so that is that. And that is all I have on the needles. I am not a blanket knitter. I'm not. Seriously, though, I really do think it's because it's smaller segments. I do have a granny square crochet blanket that I have all the squares done to, and I just have to assemble it. And so I'm going to have an assembly party, I guess. All right, next up, I'm going to talk about the Get Gifting Make-Along, which has been a year-long make-along that I am hosting mostly over on Ravelry, but also on Instagram. And there's a lot of people finishing gifts, and it's a year-long making gifts ahead of the game so that you're not at this point stressing because you're just starting your knits. You should be almost wrapped up by now if you're a good gift-alonger. That being said, I think I still have a couple excuse me, to go. So I have a couple of pattern suggestions, which I will put pictures of up on the screen. So I will leave links down below to where you can find the Ravelry group. And the hashtag for the Get Gifting Make Along is Get Gifting Mal 2025, and you can just post your pictures under that hashtag. There are no prizes or anything. We've just really had a great time sharing our gift making all throughout the year, and it really does make a difference when you break it down over the course of a few months. And so I'm looking forward to December for just selfish knitting, or people have advents coming, and that would be a good thing to do also. Okay, anyway. The first pattern that I would like to share is called the Thick and Quick Mittens, and it is by Simone Van Eidestein of Sand and Sky Creations. Simone is also on the podcast Fleece and Harmony. These are a bulky weight mitten. She used one of the Lopies, not Let Lopie. I cannot remember the actual name of what she used. Anyway, she used a woolly wool, but any bulky yarn would work. It is a 14 stitch gauge on a US 6 and 8 needles. I think these would whip up really, really quick, and in a woolly yarn, those would be awesome. So that is my first recommendation. And my next recommendation, sorry, I got my notes here, is the Waverly Weekend Cowl by Donna Brooks. It is done in a worsted weight on a US 8 5mm needle. It is a free pattern, which is super exciting. And look at how pretty this is. The lace on this, it doesn't look complicated. It uses 150 to 250 yards of worsted weight yarn. So that would probably whip up pretty nicely and would make a lovely gift. And then the last pattern that I'm sharing is an ornament, because I haven't shared any of those yet. It is called the Merry Mini Tree, and it's by Traveling Knits. It's done on a DK weight US 2.5 3mm needle. It is a $4 paid for pattern, and how cute would these be to put as tie-ons on your packages? So yeah, lovely, really, really fun. It's been a great time doing the knit along, and you can just keep posting your pictures over there on Ravelry or with the hashtag. It's all good. All right. Okay, I am going to do a little life update at this point, and if you were just here for the knitting, then thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to coming back and talking more knitty stuff in the next episode. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on in life. It has not been a fun ride right now. although we did have fun, we did go to New York. You heard me talk about that a little earlier in the podcast. It was great fun. My buddy and her husband and myself and my husband all went to the pre-Rhinebeck, pre-New York Sheep and Wool Festival events. There were 3 of them on a Friday, and we went to all 3 of them. I don't really have much footage, but we had a lovely little Airbnb that we stayed at. It was just perfect all around. We had a great time, great company, and we purchased some beautiful yarn. I opted not to show it because it would be too much. But the Indoorsy socks that I showed was one of my purchases, and the shawl that I cast on was another. So anyway, the hardest part of life has happened to me on October 20th. My precious mama took a fall. This is the 2nd fall in a very small amount of time, and dislocated her hip, which is an artificial hip. So they were able to pop that right back into place. However, it's been a journey. She was residing in a remote area with my brother and his wife, and we felt like she could not return there with, it's a safety issue, and you get to a point where you are really afraid all the time to leave her by herself. So she is currently in rehab right now, not far from my home, and will be transitioning to long-term care, which, if anybody's had to make this decision, you know how absolutely hard and heartbreaking it can be. But to be honest with you, we're starting to work through it. And would I love to have her in my home? Of course I would. My home is not wheelchair friendly, which she is in need of. And I don't feel like she needs care. She needs somebody around 24/7. So I really think that the long-term care, as hard as that sounds, is the best decision all around. It's been an emotional roller coaster, and really hard. Anyway, she's coming to terms with it, and she is starting to really, really do good. And I get to go see her every day because she's very close to my house, not far at all, which really is a huge comfort. So anyway, that was that's been most of my whole fall, has been up and down and back and forth and in and out of hospitals and all of that stuff. So it's been a little bit tough. And hence the reason I have so many smaller projects, because I have not felt like knitting and have not knit much. Although having portable projects seem to bring it back again. But she's getting settled, and we're all falling into a new groove, and I am hopeful. She's safe and she loves the staff, so that is a huge, huge comfort. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better, and I see her every day, and she loves when I bring my knitting with me. And so the little Christmas socks, I whipped those out. Those little Addie Rocket needles are great. So anyway, that is what's been happening. So it makes it a little bit harder for me to get here as often as I wish I could. But I will just keep carrying on. And as long as you all will have me, I will keep returning. And yeah. So that is that. I hope everybody is well, and I hope you are getting in some good knitting time, and just keep on keeping on in life, right? And all right, I think I will wrap it up here. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for your support and for continuing to come back. And if you're new, thanks for joining me. I hope you'll return. Take care. Bye.